Tradition never graduates. That's the slogan and mantra of Northwestern High School, a school located in the northwest side of Rock Hill, South Carolina. It is no stranger to excellence. Having boasted a reputation for high-performing athletics in all sports, an eclectic superior fine arts program, and rigorous academics to prepare the next generation for the future, Northwestern has cemented itself as a school that lives up to its mantra. But a school is more than just its reputation and more than just a building. Its students, faculty, and staff are the heart of Northwestern, where diversity reigns strong. Take a look around the campus and you will see the medley of backgrounds that make up the fabric of this institution. From race, gender, religion, ability, socioeconomic status, and much more. At Northwestern, it's evident that when you become a part of the Trojan family, you have a place here. In fact, the groundwork for Northwestern was born out of providing a place for everyone and letting students bring a piece of them to the home of the purple and gold. The roots of this great school were planted in a time not as diverse as today, but a time of rich heritage for the black communities of Rock Hill, South Carolina. A heritage full of dedication, grit, and triumph, and one that we will reflect on as Northwestern High School approaches its 50th anniversary since its founding. Travel to the city of Rock Hill, South Carolina, and you will be met with signs that read, "No room for racism," a statement that stands out in a community, like many in the South, that has had roots in segregation. While the statement of no room for racism holds true to a current-day community that embraces diversity, it was not always that way.
Well, I can tell you one thing, it didn't look like it does now. It's kind of ugly at times, but, as time went on, it got better, You eventually, I guess time took care of everything, but it was rough. It really wasn't easy. Just neighborhoods, Predominantly black neighborhoods was on from downtown to the south side.
You learn to enjoy where you were. I was trained where to stay and where not to go.
The separation was Sunset Park and then Freedom Road and Crawford Road. And if you got into any of those places, you were safe. But if you got outside of the boundaries, watch out. Anything can happen.
We had two worlds, a black and white world. At that time, things was stagnated. We had certain places we could go, we couldn't go. So we felt the urge to join in with the city and move that had started in North Carolina and to try to make a change and make a difference.
In 1891, Friendship College was established with 11 students and later incorporated in 1906, reaching an enrollment of 300 in 1908. The institution, mainly serving students for higher education purposes, reorganized as a junior college to serve elementary, junior high, high school, and junior college students. Of Friendship Junior College, the story of the Friendship Nine is born. The Friendship Nine were a group of students who attended Friendship Junior College and made history by protesting segregation in the Rock Hill community. They sat at McCrory's Five and Dime, a restaurant that was only available for whites, and were arrested as a result. While in prison, they refused bail as a means of continuing protest. Jail, no bail, was a method of protest in which participants felt that paying bail or fines indicates acceptance of an immoral system that validates their own arrest.
See, before that, it had become stagnated because every time you go to jail, the people had to bail you out, and it was costing the people of the Rock Hill money. So when we went to jail, then the state and the city and the county had to take care of us. So that reversed it, that made a big difference in the movement because people felt if we go to jail, it'll make a difference. And that really started the ball rolling and change was coming about.
As time would tell, Rock Hill would continue to recognize the efforts of the Friendship Nine, eventually placing the No Room for Racism signs, as well as having a mural dedicated to their efforts to protest segregation.
If my father was living now, he'll be surprised that they got my name on a chair, they gonna put my name on the wall on Main Street. When at 12 years old, he brought me down here and I started shining shoes and cleaning up the barbershop.
While the Friendship Nine and Friendship Junior College are held in high regard for their efforts to educate the black community and protest segregation, Rock Hill did have its own public school for blacks. Emmett Scott School, founded in 1920, was named after Emmett Scott, a respected educator and secretary of Howard University. Emmett Scott School served both primary and secondary grades until it became a junior high and high school in 1956.
It was the center of the black church. The black school was the center of activity in the black community.
The school colors were blue and gold, and the mascot was the rattler.
It was a community thing, it was a proud thing, Everybody in the black community, you lived to go to Emmett Scott. They had probably one of the best band directors ever been around here, Mr. Frontis Brooks. And like I said, the band was famous, always the last one in the Christmas parade and everything. So it was, like I said, everybody was proud to go to Emmett Scott. A lot of good educators and all, including Mr. Sam Foster.
The school functioned as a foundation of public education for black students in the Rock Hill community and was the springboard for many students during the period of integration.
So Emmett Scott was just such an important piece of history that had to be brought to the forefront so that those who attend Northwestern today and those in our community at large would just have an opportunity to say thank you for the contributions of those great educators, those alumni, for paving the way and opening Northwestern High School.
As integration solidified itself into the Rock Hill community, Emmett Scott School would close its doors as students would be split between attending Rock Hill High School and the newly built Northwestern High School. Students who grew up as rattlers were now part of the Trojan family.
They were kind of like ahead of the game, Like I said, basically all this was new to both sides, even though they hadn't ever went to school together with blacks and whites, so everything was new.
As it started, it had to be really the focal point of the community. Students from different backgrounds, families, churches were sending their children to, parents were sending their children to school to be educated for the first time in an environment that was really unknown. No one really knew what would happen when all of these kids got together. But through the leadership of Mr. Foster and his staff and through just, the foundation that he set in closing Emmett Scott and opening Northwestern, this place has been a success now, going on 50 years.
Former Scottites brought a piece of Emmett Scott with them. As many know, Northwestern High School's colors are purple and gold, and the accent of gold represents those who attended Emmett Scott School before its closing in 1970. And to this day, the diversity and appreciation for different races, cultures, and backgrounds still rings true for the Trojans. Northwestern, as aforementioned, was founded on the principle of diversity and inclusion and continues to be the epitome of such in the Rock Hill community.
Yeah, Northwestern really is just a reflection of the Rock Hill community in terms of it being, again, just one of those snapshots of the things that are good about what happens here in Rock Hill. And through just, working to make sure that our students know one another culturally, they're accepting of those that look different from them and come into this environment with hopes of being who they want to be in life. They should use Northwestern and see Northwestern as that place that they can call home. And being a family member means that you get all of the benefits of your brothers, of your sisters, of your aunts, uncles, and family members here at Northwestern that are here for the purpose of making you successful?
Well, when I first arrived at Northwestern, they talked about a tradition of excellence at Northwestern. That's what Mr. Loveless drove home, and that's what the kids also embodied in their entire personality. So we always tried to make sure that those types of things were always important to the students, of having the traditional aspect, knowing where the school started, the history of the school, the struggles of the school, but more importantly, how they could help each other out, through that tradition.
Through the years, Northwestern has called itself home to so many people.
When I arrived here, I just saw the potential of having so much to offer students, and I was saying that this was a great place for me to eventually settle down, get married, have a family, and hopefully my children would have an opportunity to go to school here, which both my boys graduated from Northwestern High School. So that's how it was when I first got here. But what I saw over the processes of those years was just a growing, I guess, want for educational excellence. So that's when we instilled a lot of programs here that a lot of schools around the state were not offering. We also were the leaders in education because the phenomenal staff that we had here were second to none.
Hi, I'm Janae Minor, a proud 2003 graduate of Northwestern High School. Coming from a family of Trojans, Northwestern is a very special place to not only myself but also my family. I am forever indebted to Northwestern High School for setting me up for success, not only on the collegiate level, but also on the professional level as an attorney. One thing that stood out to me most at Northwestern is the top-notch faculty who genuinely care about your success. Coach Blake and Mr. Bramlett are two that come to my front of mind. Those two teachers, while I was a student at Northwestern High School, were very much invested in my success, and they continue to even communicate with me today, which says a lot.
But I was nominated by my chemistry teacher, Ms. Pratt, who just poured love in me all the time. And she nominated me to South Carolina Palmetto Girls State. And then my 11th grade teacher for government was Kathy Griffin, and she helped me get registered to vote. It was Girls State that influenced my love for politics and the law, and contributed to me wanting to go to law school. And then it was Ms. Griffin who helped me get registered to vote, and I never missed an election, but it also later influenced me to run for the South Carolina Senate. I didn't win, but I tried it, and it was the best experience in my life. The second impactful event, I would say, or person, was Coach Bob Jenkins, who was a family friend, and he was my track coach. He taught me how to set goals. He taught me how to visualize and see myself doing anything I wanted to do. And it started with practice at Northwestern, visualizing myself competing for an event in track the next day. And we had this exercise that the whole team participated in, where we had to visualize ourselves competing in our respective events in the next track meet. And we were undefeated. We were pretty good, so it was working. And never realized how much of an influence that had on me in terms of how I set goals and how I visualize and just how I go about things in life. And Coach Jenkins, up until the night that he passed away, he was still encouraging me. And so he was pretty much, a life force in my life. And then the last impactful thing I would say would be my big sister. Life moves at the speed of relationships. And my sister was a role model to me because she always had friends, and she always knew how to treat her friends, and she was just a good friend to them, and she was a good friend to me. And so being able to go to high school with her, and just being involved, and I look over to the sidelines when I was playing basketball, and there was my big sister cheering me on. So that's how Northwestern helped me shape my career and how I was nurtured in high school.
Many often return to Rock Hill to raise their families, and in many cases, some even return to teach at the home of the Purple and Gold.
It was always a sense of family. You were part of the Trojan family. And I'm lucky enough to be here with my own children, who I have in 10th and in 9th grade right now. And they still feel that sense of family.
Again, as a wallflower, I really didn't do much of anything. The most impressive thing to me, though, was when they pulled the National Honor Society kids. The whole school went into B Gym. We could all fit in B Gym at that time. And then the former National Honor Society members would come around and find the new members in the stands. And that was so exciting to me that I had a thing put around my neck that I was now a member. So that was probably one of my favorite things. Plus, dress up day. We loved dress up day.
It was always my goal to come back to the community that helped raise me. So it was like a force of nature. It was just something in my spirit. I didn't have a job here in Rock Hill or anything. Something just told me it's time to go back to Rock Hill. So when I came back to Rock Hill, of course, like I said, I didn't have a job. I had to work in another county that was an hour away. But eventually, Rock Hill gave me a shot at being the teacher over at Saluda Trail. But then after I worked at Saluda Trail for 1 year, a position opened here at Northwestern. And I said that would just be my ideal job, to be back at my alma mater. So they called me for an interview, and that was probably the best interview I ever had, because I had the opportunity to interview to come back to my alma mater. So I let them know that I bleed purple and gold. And luckily, when they called me and gave me the job, I just fell to my knees. I just felt like I was home, I was where I needed to be, and that this was going to be my final stop.
Northwestern has been the starting point for many notable alumni that include professional athletes to Miss USA contestant winners. This year will mark the 50th anniversary of Northwestern's founding, and a big Trojan celebration is sure to ensue.
I'm about to be 52, and I didn't realize that Northwestern opened in 1971, which makes it even more valuable to me, because at that point, and I guess a lot of people think that Northwestern has been here forever, but it hasn't. It only has been here for 50 years. And within that 50-year time, a lot of great people have come through the school. Faculty, staff, students. The alumni of Northwestern is rich. And so hopefully next school year, it'll be one big party just celebrating the existence of Northwestern Trojans.
So as one could see, Northwestern's roots in the Rock Hill community run deeper than just being an open campus in the northwestern part of Rock Hill. It's a shining example of the efforts of those who have come before us, of the men and women who believe that diversity should be embraced and that Rock Hill has no room for racism. As Trojans, we expect for you to wear your purple proudly and embrace the accent of gold in its stitching. The accent of gold holds more history and memories for so many people who have come before you.
Lift every voice and sing till